Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. Today I thought I'll talk to you about my experiences and hopefully you'll share your experience as well about how to manage projects and how to manage them effectively such that there's a smooth flow. As a CISO, you would need to not directly, but be accountable for multiple projects. You will not be answerable just for one project. So if there's something going on in your organization, it will be a result of, or your management of your team and the business overall, especially if your team will be a result of multiple projects that are running either concurrently or one after the other. It is very important that you are able to successfully, quote unquote, manage them in such a way that they add value to the organization and the business as a whole. Having said that, you would need to pay attention to, are my projects doing fine? Are they going smoothly? Are there any roadblocks? And I don't know if you've experienced this, but I have experienced this a lot where the security people or generally IT people, they come from a technical background, strong technical background, very um, good in and experts in their fields. But they are not necessarily trained as project managers. So what they lack is they know how to implement, they sometimes know how to design, but when they're implementing or when they're designing or when they're putting all these things together, sometimes it may feel like they take their own sweet time. They do not stick to a smooth flow. They may stick to deadlines, but the flow that should come across the timeline of the project. So if your project is, let's say, if certain task or certain thing is 1 month or 2 months, there should be a flow of regularly doing things up till the end of your project or your deadline, whichever comes first. Um, what happens in that case is usually, and that's probably human nature, you have a slow pace at the start, and 1 week before the deadline, you start picking up pace. The problem with that is you do not know what you don't know, and especially when it comes to roadblocks. If you're facing roadblocks in the last week of your project, it's not good for you personally, for your team, as well as for your organization, because all the plans are now in jeopardy. I usually like to give this tip to all IT people from every sections of IT. I would tell them, go talk to people or experience the agile or the scrum methodology that's been followed by many developers. So if you have a development team in your organization, see if they have scrums or agile framework approach, and attend their daily scrum meetings, their daily stand-ups. See how they um, consolidate, or not consolidate, sorry, they break down their work into small chunks, and they focus their attention on each chunk and finish that chunk in rapid pace. So if a chunk of things are supposed to be done this week, they make sure by hook or crook they finish it by that week. Very few times does this spill over, but they are very good because of repetition. They are very good at estimating how much time they would take for each task or each bunch of tasks. So what happens is there's steady progress going on in any project. And when it comes to application development especially, there's a steady growth of features that are added, bugs that are removed, value that is created by that particular application. That same thing can be applied to not just IT projects, to any projects in general, but especially with IT projects, especially with security projects, where you take that approach and work in small chunks and make sure that you have a good flow in your project with any kind of task or with any number of tasks that you would have. Another tip over here is, I would always say, don't make things complicated, because complexity is the enemy of security, especially when it comes to projects. When you have things to design, if you know what you're doing, I mean, go for it. Go for it. Just make sure you lay it all out. But if you do not know, especially when it comes to developers, that's very much the case. Sometimes they do not know how they visualize or how they design it to be the end state, the future state, but they start working on it slowly. They start making simple bits of a certain application, and then they add it together, and then add features onto it as into every iteration. The term that they use is iteration. In every iteration, they add new features, new items. The same thing we can do with projects. We can start off, especially when we don't have a clear roadmap, a clear understanding of what the future state should be or would be. We start off with small chunks of what we know would be parts of the end state, and to keep it simple. You would see that when you keep it simple, when you keep it in bunches and have defined timelines for those small bunches, you will be able to add more value by way of completing those tasks and adding those features. In no time, you will see your end goal or the project end thing that you are working on would be achieved in a very, very nice, a very, very secure, and a very, very value added way, value add to the organization, especially. So, my recommendation and my encouragement for you, if you are listening to this, is keep your projects, um, break down your projects into short chunks, have timelines for those short chunks, and keep that flow going. And start simple, keep it simple, and let the complexity grow organically. Do not get stuck by trying to make things complex and trying to design everything at the get go. All right. So thanks for listening today. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts and comments. Let me know how you, what you have experienced, how you approach your projects. All right. So thanks for watching, and see you tomorrow.